Welcome to Guesstimator, the quiz that gets inside the brilliant and bizarre brains of Britain. I'm Andy Bush, and every week we explore Britain's attitudes to society's hot topics, like how effective would a keyring be as a makeshift fork? This week we're delighted to be joined by actress and comedian Kerry Howard. Kerry's big break was in 2009 when she played Vicky in the remake of the iconic 70s sitcom Reggie Perrin, and soon after she would go on to star in BBC Three sitcom Him and Her, for which she was nominated for Best Female Performance in a Comedy Role at the BAFTAs. More recently she's featured in BBC's Black Ops and Waterloo Road, been on stage at the National Theatre in Jack Absolute Flies Again, and this year she'll be on our screens in Dreamers, a film about a Nigerian migrant freshly placed at a UK asylum removal centre, and dark comedy Bad Apples. Kerry, welcome to Guesstimators.
Wow, I sound so successful.
You are successful. You've been
I was
busy.
like, Jesus.
How are you doing? How's things?
I mean, I'm mainly at home with the kids, so it's quite refreshing to listen to the highlights, the hits, the top hits. And I'm like, oh yeah, I do that. I'm cool, man.
And do you enjoy the industry? Sometimes people can be a bit jaded with it all and everything. Is it a nice industry to be in? The industry you're in?
I'm still very much a competition winner. Like, I have big competition winner energy.
Right.
So whenever I'm allowed on set, I'm just giddy.
Yeah.
Proper giddy. And it's like, chill the fuck out.
Do some people moan about it, though, if you're working on set with people? Can you see people who are kind of jaded?
Oh, yeah. And they're so cool. And I just think, oh, babe. I mean, we're all landfill. Chill out.
We're all landfill.
Well, yeah.
And then, I mean, we note that you are an aerial fitness enthusiast.
Oh, yes.
Now, I looked at that earlier on today on your Instagram, and it looks like the hardest thing in the entire world to do. Can you try and explain to people what aerial fitness is?
I mean, it's pole dancing.
Oh,
basically.
okay.
Pole dancing and hoop as well.
Uh-huh.
I mean, what happened was there was a mum at the school gates and her arms were cut up. And I was like staring at her arms for months thinking, what is she doing? What kind of HIIT class is she doing?
What's her secret?
Yeah, exactly. So I went up to her and I was like, how did you get those arms? Because I'm lifting weights and they're not shredded like that. And she's like, I do pole fitness. It's in Cajun. You should come along. It's great. And I popped along. And I thought I was strong. And I sort of tried to lift myself up on the pole, thinking, because everyone was just gliding up like swans. They were just so effortless and it looked so easy.
No offence to your impersonation just then, but where was she from, this lady?
Up north.
Oh, okay, great.
Up north.
Just trying to work out the country.
Somewhere near Liverpool.
That's right, okay.
Yeah. And my back, like for weeks, was screaming. I was awful at it. And I just was like, no, I've got to keep doing it. And one day I did it and my back didn't scream. And then I could start to do inverts and go upside down. As soon as you go upside down, it's like you're a 5-year-old girl again going, wee!
Oh, wow.
And you actually do spin and fly. And it's giddy and it's feeling like a child again. And learning a new skill when you're middle aged is actually like a real kind of like wake up moment of, I'm not redundant. Yeah. I can be brand new and be a beginner and actually learn a new skill and get excellent at it.
Yeah.
She's not excellent yet. She's on her way. But it takes 5 years to be pro.
To say if myself or Statman Matt or producer Will were going to try and get into it, in the interim, what could we do at home to kind of build ourselves up to not be completely humiliated when we came to one of these places? Is there anything you can do?
Pull-ups.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't think I could do a single pull-up.
Hard.
Genuinely.
And the thing about pull-ups is just because you can get to 10 doesn't mean next week you can do that 10 again.
Okay.
It's like it's in reach and then it's out of reach.
How do you start doing pull-ups though? How do you learn?
You dead hang for a minute.
Whoa,
and if you can dead hang for a minute, you can do one pull-up.
What is dead hanging? Just hanging off something?
Just hanging off a bar.
Really?
Legs like
For a minute?
Yeah, for a minute.
There's no way.
But that's really good for your spine, and it's just so good. Everyone should do a bit of dead hang.
I don't want to go on about it again, but I had sciatica for ages. And
Oh,
I was
it'd be
trying to
so
hang off
good
stuff
for
for ages
you.
just to try and
Yes.
feel that, that
That
feeling of it all
space.
spacing out. Yeah.
Yeah, expansion.
I'm going to do a dead hang.
Do it!
Do it and I'll sign up.
I'm so excited about that.
And then you've been on Richard Osman's House of Games.
Yes.
How did you get on?
I don't know. I literally went there and I was like, Richard, why? Why have you brought me on this show? I am famously thick. And he's like, yeah, but you're fun. You're a lot of fun. I was like, oh, okay. I'm the charming idiot. Brilliant.
Charming idiot. The reason we are here is to quiz, so let's get stuck in following a recap on how it all works with Matt Cutler, aka the Statman.
Right, let's get quizzing. So, Kerry, we've compiled a group of people from across the UK representing a wide range of backgrounds, ages and interests, and we call them the Guestination.
Okay.
We ask the Guestination a series of questions to which there's no correct answer. Frankly, they're quite stupid questions. Your job is to work out what their common answers were, the most common answers were, to all of these various questions we asked.
Okay.
Our listeners are playing this quiz as we speak, as this goes out, but now it's the competitive element will come out because it's you against Bush.
Okay.
I'm like the lowest common denominator, though. They'll be like the. Would you have it? Would you call it in like a science test? We have like, is it the? You know, you have like something stupid in a science test that just so you know where you're at. The mean? No, not the mean.
I can't remember.
Oh,
the
I know
words.
what you mean.
Do you know what I mean?
The medium, the mean, like, yeah.
If you happen to be into science or you're doing GCSE chemistry, what's that called? At Guesstimators now.
It's going to come to me during this episode.
Okay.
There's 3 rounds. I'll take your answers. And this week's Guesstimators quiz is called Migraines.
Constant.
Constant.
The constant.
Thank you, Will.
There we go.
You need not get in touch.
No. Yes. Thanks, Will. This week's Guesstimators quiz is called Migraines, Minestrone and Mobile Banking. And to kick off this week, we're going to be dishing up some questions about one of the hottest food trends of 2024, which was soup.
Where do you stand on soup,
I
Kerry?
mean, it's just blended vegetables, isn't it?
I thought you'd be more positive, more soup positive with your fitness lifestyle.
No, I want protein now. Soup can do one. Soup was fine in my 20s when I wanted to just like eat water and just try and be thin. But now I realise that was wrong. And now it's all about cottage cheese, flatbread.
Ooh.
Oh, yeah.
Cottage cheese flatbread.
Yeah.
I think I've ever heard of such a thing.
Oh, my God. You just get a cup of cottage cheese, an egg, beat them together, put some turmeric in, bit of salt and pepper, baking tray, baking paper, flatten it out, cook it for 20 minutes.
Yeah.
Get it out. Whatever filling you want, roll it up. Bam. You got yourself a low-carb wrap.
Oh. Wow.
And it is tasty as fuck.
Because cottage cheese is quite weird, isn't it? Isn't cottage cheese kind of weird?
Well, it's got no flavour.
Yeah.
So you can just smash in whatever you like. God, I sound like Jamie Oliver. Smash the fuck out of that cottage cheese.
Get some coriander on it.
pucker. He doesn't swear so much now, actually. That was in his Naked Chef era.
If you were going to have soup, though, what would you go for? If you got like a favourite type?
It would have to be sort of like a spicy chicken with lemongrass and like, oh, what's that? Like a cheeky flavour.
Is there a soup you hate?
Pea.
Pea soup?
Yeah.
I don't mind pea soup. Pea and ham kind of thing.
Oh,
right?
God, no. No.
Horrendous reaction to that soup from Kerry.
Yeah, no.
Well, Statman, hit us with the question.
No, that's good intel before we get stuck in. So we asked the Guestination simply, name the best and worst soup.
Okay. Oh, God. Minestrone is the worst, I reckon.
I agree with that, actually. Minestrone looks like school assembly vom.
Yeah, it's
Doesn't it?
sick.
So
It's literal sick. Yeah.
Was it a dinner lady putting sawdust on it?
Yeah.
That's minestrone.
Well, we'll come to that in a sec, because for questions 1 and 2, I'll give you these together. I just simply want you to tell me what was the most common answer for best, what was the second most common answer, and I'm going to give you some choices.
Okay, good.
Butternut squash is in the mix. French onion,
Yeah.
leek and potato, noodle, and tomato. So the top 2 answers are in that group. And if you say one in the wrong position, I'll give you a half point.
Okay.
Any initial reactions to those?
So leek and potato is definitely the worst, 100%, because she's bland. Like, she's wearing beige. She's got no colour, no personality. Like, I've got ADHD, so, like, what were the other soups? I've completely forgotten.
Butternut squash.
I feel like that is a very trendy soup to have, so I feel like that is, like, up number 1.
You think it's kind of in vogue at the moment
Yeah,
type thing, right?
it's fashionable, burnt orange.
Yeah. Yeah.
French onion was the other one of the other options.
Okay, that is a lovely soup.
It is a lovely soup.
And that is a dressy soup, because you have to get your baguette, you have to do the cheese thing. There's effort to that soup. So, and she's fancy. So I think that's number 2 for me.
And the other 2, you mentioned leek and potato, noodle and tomato.
What is noodle soup, by the way? What is noodle soup?
Noodle is that like a chicken soup?
I never really. I associate it with being ill, having noodles.
Yeah. Recovery soup.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Friends.
What do you mean?
Because there's that scene in Friends, isn't there, where Joey constantly gets the advert wrong. He keeps on saying soup instead of noodle soup.
Okay.
And then no one can hate tomato soup. Though,
No one can
they?
hate tomato soup, but it's so 80s that I feel like people of our age are like have an aversion to tomato soup because it was like something you would have every week.
Yeah.
Tinned tomato soup.
It's got day off school written about it a little bit as well, I feel.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm watching Neighbours at 1:30.
So I feel like
that.
most people in our, but then you would, and then the young uns wouldn't know what a tinned soup was because everything's like fresh and homemade.
Yeah, it's from the local deli, isn't it? That kind of thing.
So I feel like tomato soup's not even on there. So I'm going to go noodle, leek as baddies, and then it's squash and French onion soup as the best.
So you're going best ones, butternut squash and French onion.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll take those for you.
Yeah, because this is difficult, isn't it? You're trying to get into the mind of the destination.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to go for tomato as a favourite because I just think it's got to be. It's an all-rounder. It seems to have done pretty well over the years. It hasn't kind of really been in and out of fashion too much. I don't really know what noodle soup is. That's confusing. I'm going to go French onion as the other one for a favourite. And then out of those, we're looking for worst now.
No, well, I'll come to that question when I've filled in my spreadsheet. Sorry.
You shouldn't be doing your tax while we're doing podcast.
Right, for Kerry, I'm taking butternut squash most common, and then
Yeah.
French onion second most common. Bush tomato most common.
Yes.
And French onion second most common. I actually hate tomato soup.
Yeah.
Just for the record, I
Why?
hate that.
Why?
Particularly the
Cream of
Heinz
tomato.
one.
Yes,
It's so
yes.
like feels so fake and like
Yeah.
like neon red.
I no matter how I'm feeling, I always think tomato soup just works. There's never a bad time for tomato
Yeah, but
soup.
that Heinz tomato soup, there's no tomatoes in it.
Yeah.
It's a lie. It just doesn't feel right.
But it's like a 1980s day off school. It's like a hug, I think. Did you mention cream of? I don't like cream of. Is that a difference to?
Cream
I-
of tomato.
Yeah, I
it's
feel
like, what
like
is that?
the texture of it is like, because if you make home like made tomato soup, it's never that sort of creamy and it's
Yeah.
more pithy and watery.
It's no cottage cheese.
No
flatbread,
gosh,
is it?
yeah, wrap. I'm not good at making soup, basically. Shit at that.
Okay, question 3. Yes, the question 3 is what was the most common answer for the worst? But I've got a different group here.
Oh,
Got a different group.
Okay.
One of the most common answer for the worst is in this group. Lentil,
Oh, yeah.
minestrone. You've already mentioned that, Gary. Gazpacho,
Cold soup, yeah.
oxtail,
ooh,
Oh, but I like that.
I've not heard of that for a while.
Oh, yeah.
and pea. We've already
Peas.
mentioned a few of these unprompted.
Wow.
One of those is the most common answer for the worst. I want you to tell me which one it was.
Anything jump out? So let's just recap: lentil, minestrone, I can't even say it.
Gazpacho.
Gazpacho, oxtail or pea.
Do you know what? I'm going to go lentil.
Really?
Because that's always a last resort. If there's nothing at home, like in the pantry.
Yeah.
In the pantry,
In
she
the
lives
pan-
in Bath. It's just a cupboard. In the cupboard. And for some reason, I think every household has a lentil soup and it lives at the back and is collecting dust. And even when there's nothing to eat and you've got the lentil soup going, it's my turn, champ, you're still like, nah, I'll just have bread. Like nothing.
It's been there for years
It's
at the
been
back.
there for years. It's like 2018. It's just dying. You never choose that, but you get it and you think, well, it's healthy.
Yeah. I don't know if I'd ever choose lentil soup in any kind of given situation, though, to be honest with you.
It's the one that gets donated to the Harvest Festival.
Yeah, and
it is.
people
You're like, oh
cry.
yeah, this.
Yeah.
Let's give that to the Harvest Festival, whatever the Harvest Festival is.
Wherever
I'm not
the-
really sure what that is. But
Yeah, where's the food
Yeah.
go? They close the curtains on it at school and you never see it
Yeah.
again.
It's just loads of hungry people with can openers. Yeah. Because you just give them can. What if they don't have a can opener? And they're like, fuck.
That's why the ring pull was invented.
Yeah.
Listen to this. My friend James, who listens to this podcast, he was telling me he went to stay with his mother-in-law quite recently and was trying to help out doing the cooking. And she's got a full pantry, but she famously is out of control of all the foods and stuff. And she was ripping off the best before dates of all the stuff, and there were some lentils that he was cooking with, and he found the best before date in the bin, and it was from 1988.
Wow.
And they'd already eaten the meal.
It's like the Mary Celeste. That's
What
that's terrible.
additives are they putting in there that keeps them that long?
Taste of Cold War.
But he said it was fine.
Oh, you probably are. You probably are.
Yeah.
But given how long lentils have probably got, that's a long haul. I mean, I'm fascinated by oxtail on this list here because You don't really see it too much these days. It's got kind of partridge spine in the back type vibes about it as well. It is just the tail of a thing, right? A tail of a cow or an ox. Well, it's the clue's in the name. Minestrone's boring though, isn't it, as well?
Again, it's sick.
Yeah, it does look like
It's
sick.
just like
No one's choosing minestrone on
No.
purpose, are they? Although I've got a feeling people would recoil. I'm quite surprised you were so pro oxtail, Kerry. I think a lot of people recoil at oxtail, so I'm going to put that down as like the worst.
Okay.
But it's just brown soup.
It's just brown soup.
Okay.
Don't fear the brown soup.
Don't. It's just French onion without the onions.
Right, I'll take lentil for you, Kerry, and oxtail for you, Bush. Last question on this round.
Christ.
So when asked to name the best soup, one person on the guest nation, so just one person, there's about 100 people on the guest nation,
Okay.
said miso soup was the best soup.
Ooh.
Bit of an outlier there.
Mm.
I want you to tell me, what did this person say on a previous quiz is the best dip? So the person who says miso soup is the best soup, what do they think the best dip is? Do they think it's baba ganoush, guacamole, hummus, salsa, or tzatziki?
Oh, so kind of miso soup person. What would
Yeah.
they go for there?
Hummus.
You got hummus vibes. From that.
Yeah.
What's your view on miso soup?
I love
incidentally?
it.
Yeah, it's good, isn't it?
I love it, but I don't cook it at home. It's a thing that if I go to a sushi restaurant, I always think, yeah, I'll have a bit of miso soup.
Isn't it really easy? It's like a little powder thing,
Yeah,
right? Isn't it?
but
Instead of
I've done
hot
it
water
one
to
time, but it never tastes the same.
Oh, really? It's not
It's
as
just
good.
like, yeah.
I like the idea of it. I imagine if I made it, it'd be absolutely rank. But what would this kind of person think?
I feel like they're health conscious, and hummus on that. I mean, salsa's salsa's got no flavour.
Yeah.
Unless you put a load of nacho cheese on it and mint.
Cottage cheese.
Yeah, cottage cheese.
Stick a bit of
It's
wet.
it's always cottage cheese.
Guacamole. I'm going to go guacamole.
You're going to go guac?
Yeah, I feel like it's come to me.
Okay.
Okay, nice. I'll take hummus for you, Kerry, and guacamole for you, Bush.
This should be an interesting end of round because we've gone for quite different things,
Yes.
I'm really hungry now.
I think. I'm hungry.
Damn it.
We'll go for soup.
Yeah.
Right, answers are in.
Boom.
We asked the guest nation to name the best soup and the worst soup. The second most common answer for the best was tomato.
Oh, I hate you.
I am the
Fine,
everyman.
I'm fine.
Although you put that top, Bush, so it's only a half, I'm afraid.
Okay, well, I mean, I'll take that.
They're
Given
just
how my
all
school
basic. They're all basic bitches. Fuck them.
The most common answer for best was French onion,
Okay.
which
I
you
was-
both put second. So you
Yeah.
both get a half point for
That's
that.
not
Okay.
bad. That's not bad.
That's not bad.
I think people like, because I suspect most people would never make French onion, because I guess it's quite hard, takes quite long to do.
I have done it
Have
before.
you?
Yeah,
Okay.
it takes ages.
Yeah.
And you cry all the time.
Weeping.
Weeping.
Can you buy tinned French onion soup or not?
Yeah.
Can you?
Oh yeah.
Oh, I've never seen it. Ah.
Yeah. It's there. It's not as good.
It's not going to have the bread or the Gruyere in it, is it?
Well, exactly.
You need that.
Yeah.
I feel like we're learning a lot about soup here. today on these days.
Right, the most common answer for the worst was oxtail.
Oh, why?
So she nailed it.
The true Kerry Howard is coming out now with some of these reactions. Table over.
But before I tell you the answer to the last question, we've actually got a voice note from miso soup person.
Okay.
I said, why did you choose miso soup? Here's what they said.
Hey, this is Jared and miso soup. I chose it mostly because it's smooth, like me dodging small talk at a party. And it's free most times. I'm actually quite surprised I didn't get more love from those folks swiping snacks from the Spotify studio every week.
Wow, what
Which
a
is
chill
quite
out guy.
freaky.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's a bit weird.
Also, how did you know?
Bit stalkery.
Was he talking about us that we steal? Because we actually do steal snacks from the Spotify.
We do. We load up on a lot
I mean,
of
you
free
would.
stuff.
I've got
you
some in
would,
my
yeah,
bag.
definitely.
If it's on offer, then you're just going to take it. How,
How
does he know?
How does he know that?
Who is this guy?
This is an inside job.
He's sitting there watching the security
And he
cameras eating
sounded
miso.
angry as well, even though he was sort of like passive, like passive aggressive.
He's passag. There's no two ways about it.
And Jared's favourite dip was hummus.
Yes! Eat that, you shitbag! I'm fine. I'm fine.
I can't believe this. Things have hotted up in this first round, haven't
I
they?
love it.
See, this is why I don't play games with my children.
I don't think I've ever been called a shitbag by a guest before.
Yeah.
I kind of like it.
you. You're a nice
Thanks
guy.
very much. I kind of like it.
Right. Oh, I'm a good person. I'm a good person.
But that means it's hotting up in the studio, and it means that after the end of round one, Kerry, you're on a 1.5 and Bush, you're on a 2. So it's very, very
Oh,
close.
it's tight.
Whoa,
It's
this is
tight.
gonna be-
It's tight.
This is going to be close.
Hi, Welcome to Pod. Alright, I'll do it then. I'm Ethan Lawrence.
And I'm Sean Anthony.
And we are the hosts of Shut Up and Answer the Question, the show where we put the world to rights.
Each episode, we take a question from the audience and spend about 45 minutes trying to answer it. Sometimes we succeed.
Sometimes. New episodes drop every Thursday, and if you want to send us a question, you can at our email address, shutuppod@yahoo.com.
That is SHUTUPPOD@yahoo.com.
Thanks for listening.
See you there.
Before we get into round two, if you're listening and didn't play this quiz, make sure you sign up at guesstimators.com. Every Monday, the quiz lands in your email inbox, and you've got until 6 p.m. on Wednesday to tackle it. This podcast right here is the first place to hear the answers and whether you top the weekly leaderboard. And if you're enjoying the show, please give us a rating and a review. It really helps us to spread the word. Welcome back. What have you got in store for us in round two, Statman Matt?
Round two this week is all about getting a definitive ranking of things we know are really painful, but many of us will never get to experience. Because we asked the Guest Nation to rank a mix of mental and physical ailments that are famously painful, but asked them to rank them from most painful to least painful.
Ooh.
Okay? These were childbirth, heartbreak, migraines, a root canal, and unrequited love.
Oh
Isn't that heartbreak and unrequited like? Isn't that the same thing?
Maybe. I think unrequited love is more.
You like someone and they maybe not even notice you.
And you won't even get to the stage of heartbreak, maybe, because
Yeah.
you know that you may never get them in the first place. I don't know.
I mean, childbirth, then migraine, then heartbreak is kind of the circle of life, isn't it? In many ways. There's a lesson for us all there. Well, this is a tricky one, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, doing the aerial sports stuff that you do, Kerry, you're used. Is that like a pain threshold
Yes,
thing?
it is always painful. It's never not painful.
Okay.
But I like the pain.
Like the pain. Good pain.
It's good pain. That pain is good. Migraine. That's annoying, isn't it? That's an annoying pain.
Yes.
But you can, rally.
And
Can
do you remember?
through a root canal? I don't know.
Oh, root canal's the worst thing ever.
See, I've never experienced that.
It's awful.
Is it?
It's really awful. But I mean, obviously, it's on the same list as childbirth, so I know the
I
positioning.
have experienced that.
Is it true that when you have a child, then something in your brain erases the pain from your
I
memory?
threw up
Did you?
twice.
So did
and
I.
that was my body.
Yeah.
Like after the babies were born, my body went into shock. I didn't feel the pain, but my body was like, "You've done something really bad," and threw up. And that's what happened. Like, weird. How come you threw up?
They made me do a COVID test afterwards, and it was the first time I'd ever done a COVID test, and just stuffing that thing up my nose and then down
you
my
had a
throat just
gag
made
reflex.
me sick. Yeah,
Oh.
and I just experienced childbirth. I mean, I hadn't experienced childbirth. I'd been through it.
But the seat is painful that us fellas have to sit on.
Oh, it's awful.
It's
It's
unbelievable.
awful.
They need to do some
It's
work on that.
awful. No, what they don't tell you, like after you've had a vaginal birth, guys, is
Thanks for that phrase.
I will. Is that when you go to toilet the next day, you don't realise there's no books, there's no literature on this, that your fanny inflames like to the size like bigger than a gibbon's ass. It's like you go to wipe your fanny, but you're like, oh, she's lower, she's by the knees, and it's like fuck, and it is literally like something is dead. There's another beast on top of it, and it's really like wet and sore and ow. That is not in any of the books.
They
So
don't
I
tell
was,
you that.
I was shocked when that happened.
Yeah, I didn't go through that.
Oh God!
That's not mentioned in hypnobirthing classes, is it? That's for sure. How old are your kids, Kerry?
So Wes is 10 and Callum is 7.
Okay, so obviously you went back again and had more. So obviously there's a bit of your brain that wipes out that pain.
Yeah,
then, right?
completely. Yeah.
I know a bit about this. It's called peak end theory.
Really?
Because they use it in. So if you go to like a sporting event or like any event, you're often what you think about whether it's good or not is often the last thing that happened because it's in your memory, and they think it's like a human thing related to childbirth. Where if you knew like I guess the exhilaration of having a baby just erases everything that happened before. Otherwise, you just wouldn't do. Like, civilization would stop, wouldn't it?
Yeah, definitely. And you're off your tits on like hormones as well.
Yeah. Did you have gas and air?
No, I didn't actually. I had.
You raw dogged it. Is that what they
raw
call it?
dogged it,
That's what they call these things.
I had an epidural in
Did
the
you?
end, but both my births lasted 78 hours, and I didn't get my epidural until the last like 5 hours.
Wow.
So I was having labour pains, but yeah, just
man.
waiting.
And did you have like plans of like water birth and all that kind of stuff, and all that went out the window because it took so long, or was
No,
it?
I always knew that like it's not in my control.
Mm-hmm.
I always think it's quite naive that people think, oh, I'm going to do all this. And then you're like, you're not. You have no control over life.
Yeah.
Just go with the flow. So I was very much like going with the flow, thinking, when are they going to induce me? Because I just didn't dilate.
Yeah.
Like my fanny's just like,
Nope, we're keeping the babies. They're staying inside you. Night, night.
and so every time I'm like, well, the second birth, I was like, look, this fanny doesn't open, okay? She is a closed ship. Let's just induce her. Let's get her cooking. And they were like, no, let's wait. Because my waters had broken. I'm like, no, get it out. And they just wouldn't listen. They're like, no, you will dilate. And I'm like, she doesn't dilate.
She.
Not give her 10 grand and maybe she'll dilate, but she's not doing it.
Well, with that in mind, we need to put that up against heartbreak, migraines, root canal, and unrequited love.
Well, let me ask you. I just realised I haven't asked a question yet. Question 1 on this round: what, on the whole, did the guest nation say was the most painful out of those? So, childbirth, heartbreak, migraines, root canal, unrequited love.
The thing is, it's 50-50, isn't it? So, childbirth isn't going to be number 1 because that's going to alienate your male people. They're not going to say that because they don't experience that. So that's my logic hitting it.
I like it.
Yeah.
I like it.
We asked them to rank them.
Rank them.
How they perceived how painful they are. So they will be in the mix. Yeah.
Yeah, because I think if you're a guy though and you're putting like a migraine above childbirth, that's
that's
you're causing trouble.
I feel like root canal and childbirth are quite close.
Yeah, they've got good like horror PR, haven't they?
No, I'm going to tactically ask your opinion first,
Oh.
and then.
Well, I mean, I
Change
just think from a guy's perspective, you can't put any of those others above childbirth because it looks like you're just like trying to, turn the quiz over slightly. So I think childbirth is definitely going to be on there. Root canal's horrendous, but I've never met anyone else who's ever had one. So it's quite a hard. But then again, I don't think you're going to put heartbreak or unrequited love up there with, painful, really. So it does kind of by process of elimination leave. Although migraines, people have migraines, it can be awful, can't it?
They take to the bed.
Take to the bed.
Vertigo and all of that. Can't
So
get up.
Maybe migraines and childbirth type thing. Look at us helping each other.
Yeah, I know.
I called a shitbag earlier on.
I think I'm going to go childbirth now. Childbirth and root canal.
Okay, I only need the top answer, so I'll take childbirth.
I'll go childbirth as well. It's got to be
Okay.
childbirth.
Okay, it has to be.
Right, question 2. I'll take childbirth for both of you. And what about the least one? What, on average, did they say was the least painful over that mix?
Unrequited love, I think.
Definitely.
Because that's just a fantasy.
Yeah.
Isn't it? And sometimes it's quite fun. Like, I do it all the time.
Yeah, I agree. It's one-way love, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, I'll take unrequited love
It's a
for both of you.
game.
Just a big game.
Question 3, and this is related to your point that you just made there, Bush. Did men or women say on the whole that childbirth was more painful? So people who experienced it or people who didn't experience it?
Ooh, that's an interesting one.
I think women definitely would say. Because that's like, it's a common argument, isn't it?
Yeah. Although sometimes I feel like people, say women who don't want kids or haven't got kids or haven't had kids might, in a kind of, feel like they're always being talked to by, maybe talked down to by people who have had kids, might, as a protest, put something else higher. Weirdly, I think it will be men. I think men, out of pure fear, will put childbirth first, personally.
In case they get killed by their wives.
Exactly.
Right, okay.
John, what form are you filling in? Hang on a second. Yeah, I've got a feeling it's going to be men. Scared men.
Okay. All right. I'll take men for you, Bush, and women for you, Kerry. Round
Do your spreadsheet there, Matt?
Spreadsheet, yeah. My tax return nearly done. Right, yeah. Answers are in.
Okay.
The most painful on average from the guest nation, they said childbirth.
Okay.
Which you both got one right.
Both got that.
You both got that right. The least painful on average was unrequited love. You both got that one right as well.
On this.
Nice.
Come on.
Yes.
Teamwork.
You're
Teamwork.
split on this one, though. Was it men or women who said they thought childbirth was, on the whole, more painful? It was men.
Oh, okay.
Men actually said
Scared
yeah.
men.
Takes a dickhead to know a dickhead. You know what I mean?
That still means it's very close. Kerry, going into the last round, you're on a 3.5. Bush, you're on a 5. You're doing well.
Okay.
With that aside, it's a tough time for comedy at the minute, isn't it? In terms of comedy's getting commissioned and everything.
Yeah. Well, there's no money. There's no money in it at the moment. There's money in like Hallmark rom-coms.
Yeah.
Which quite a lot of people are writing now. But yeah, and there's no schemes. There's no sort of like Feed My Funny shorts and things like that. When I started like years ago, that they were available to me, and I did quite a few of those BBC shorts, and they really helped me break into sitcoms and things like that. But like as a young actor now wanting to do comedy, I'd say just do funny Instagrams and TikToks. That is the
quickest route, isn't it, to do it?
Yeah, because the TV streamers, they're not giving them any sort of programs to sort of fund and showcase.
Because you must have grown up, in a kind of golden age of sitcoms and so on. Some great stuff. What did you watch up?
Just at the end.
Did you?
Of that.
What were you watching then when you were growing up?
Well, it was like 2 packets of lager crisps. Yeah. You know that show?
Yeah, 2 pints of lager and a packet of crisps.
She's so dyslexic. So those lot, they were the golden era.
Right.
So
okay.
made a shitload of money per ep. And then I think the BBC and other channels were like, hang on a minute, these actors are getting overpaid. And then the new bloods came in and they're like, right, we're going to give you a $5, you lucky bitch. And you're going to be on telly. So I think I'm famously like, I've always been underpaid.
Yeah.
Like I remember going to the BAFTAs, being nominated, and me and Ricky had a pay cut on the final series of Him and Her. And all I wanted was like a pay rise, because normally the last series of that I got 18 grand for series 3.
Wow.
And I was like, I just want 20 grand for series 4. And I literally remember saying to the exec going, it's going to get a BAFTA. I'm going to get nominated, because the material was so good that I was like, absolutely, like there's no way we're not going to get a BAFTA, even though we'd never been nominated for anything. I just knew it because Stefan's script was so good.
Yeah.
And then I got a pay cut and I got 12 grand because we went out of the flat. And we was like, it's because we're out of the flat, guys.
Yeah.
And
because you think people who think because you're on telly, you must be on like a million
I remember
a year
John
or stuff.
Robbins, because I went to sixth form with John, and he was sort of just a gigging stand-up then, hadn't really broke through, but he was like hanging around with my brother. And he was like, yeah, well, you're probably like on 80 grand, aren't you? And I was like, no, 12 grand, I'm broke. And I remember like running up to get the BAFTA for the show and thinking, I've just had Wesley and I had no fucking money.
Yeah.
And it's just like, and it was the equivalent of being a year 7 at a sixth form ball. Because everybody knew everybody. And I was just like, hi, I've got my bag. I'm allowed to be here. And it was mental.
Yeah.
It was mental.
But you have lots of stuff on the horizon. Let's just go through what things you have coming out. A film called Departures.
Yeah.
Tell us about that.
Well, that was done through a director that I'd met on Waterloo Road. And it was just like a whole improvised film. So I'm not a massive thing in it, but he just was a fan and just asked me to come up to Manchester for a day and improvise some scenes. And he's like, and you're a hooker? And I was like, okay.
That comes through on a text on the train. Oh, okay. Right.
But it's exploring sort of like homosexuality and all that kind of like the relationships and working class families and all of that. And I really like the setup. I like the fact that it was homegrown. Like he was like working full time as a director for Waterloo Road and then doing this as a side project every other weekend. Mm-hmm. And at the moment, to get an independent film off, it takes like 8 years of development. And Lloyd was like, I haven't got 8 years, so I've written this film and I want to do it now. And he just got out there and did it.
Oh wow!
Yeah,
okay.
And I think yes, because I write as well, and half the time it's the development, the years of development destroy your idea, and by the time you get lucky, if you get lucky to actually get to set, you're 2 years in. This is sitcom writing, and you're bored
because
you're
sick of it.
Yeah,
sick of the thing.
Yeah. So
And tell us about Bad Apples as well, because that looks really cool, like a dark comedy.
that is, and it's set in Bristol as well.
Oh, great.
Yeah, Bottle Yard Studios, which I loved because I could drive and then get home in 20 minutes. Like, that's my favourite.
The dream job.
Yeah, and I could see the kids in the evening. I don't want to give it away too much, but it's set in a school, and the lead is Saoirse Ronan. Have I said her name right?
I have big problems with her name. We had a little conference
Sure,
about it
sure.
earlier on.
Yeah.
Don't know how to say it properly.
She's so lovely as well, but in your brain when you're chatting to her, you're like, and she's doing a bit where how no one ever pronounces my name right, and I'm thinking I'm going to be on that list as well. But she's lovely. So she plays a teacher, and there's a really naughty boy, and they've got the inspectors in that week, and he always ruins her lessons.
Right.
Anyway, he's ill one day, and then something happens, and it just becomes this whole dark thriller. Like, I literally can't say anything.
Yeah.
But it's brilliant.
Yeah, it sounds fantastic.
Yeah,
It
and
does
I'm a
sound cool.
police officer, so I was very excited because I got to wear a uniform. She likes being a stripper, guys. It's literally all the stripper uniforms. But it was very fun, actually, sort of like having the policeman outfit and being in a police car and then like thinking I'm on the bill. But actually it's a Hollywood movie, but I'm like like an absolute dick. But yeah, it's just fun. It's just fun to be on set and to get home.
Yeah, no. And when will Bad Apples be out? People keep
I
them out
think
for
soon. I
pretty
think
soon.
soon. Yeah.
Amazing. Well, listen, it's time for our final round. What do you have for a Statman, Matt?
In round 3 this week, to round it up, we asked the Guest Nation to estimate how many times a week on average they access their online banking, either through their laptop or on their phone. There's a gear change for you.
Whoa. When you were saying access online, I was thinking, where's this going?
Yeah.
How many times they're logging into their online bank a week?
I mean,
A week.
God, I mean, I don't like. Do you like looking at that kind of stuff?
No.
I feel like it puts me in a bad mood.
Yeah.
That
But
stuff.
I'm like, if I get letters, I have an anxiety about opening letters.
Totally agree.
And I don't know what that is. I feel like I'm going to open up a letter and it's like, we're going to kill you. You've been nominated to die. Like, it's that sort of visceral fear.
Yeah.
Or like you're in debt, and I've never been in debt, but it's like those red letters where you're like, we're gonna take everything away from and your firstborn, like. So yeah, I don't like. So I have to look at your bank account because you have to pay for shit.
Yeah.
And just to sort of like check it, but it's that fear of like it's all gonna be someone's hacked into my account and they've taken everything. That fear.
Yeah.
It's
No,
so
it is
irrational. I'm not the only one then.
No, absolutely. I can't stand it. Even if
Right.
you go to a cash point, it says, do you want an advice slip? I said, no, I'm fine.
No, leave me alone.
I've ruined my own life. Thanks very much.
Yeah.
I'm okay with that.
And I'm not smart about my money. Like loads
no.
of people are like, invest it. Do something with it really clever. And I'm like, no, I'm just going to keep it there and watch it disappear.
slowly leak
Yeah.
away.
Right, question 1 on this round. Who on average said they access their online bank account more, under 30s or over 60s?
Oh, the boomers. The boomers have made a lot of money.
They have.
And quite controlling. I think 60. I think 60.
Yeah, maybe.
It's hard though.
It's
but
tricky, isn't it?
Tech as well, and 30-year-olds are quite clever, aren't they?
Yeah, there's all that kind of like split a
pong.
bill,
Yeah,
hit
yeah.
a button and split a bill, send over a PayPal pay request, split
Yeah.
a bill.
I'm going to go 30s. See, I'm so indecisive. 30s.
It needs to work for Kerry in this final round because she is trailing.
Yeah.
I don't know if I actually mentioned that from earlier on.
Okay, so you go under 30s, Gary.
Yeah.
I'm going to go over 60s.
Fuck. I hate you with a passion.
Our relationship has darkened quite a lot over these 3 rounds of quizzing. I hope you were better behaved on Richard Osman's House of Games.
No, I was terrible.
Right, okay, I'll take over 60s for you, Bush, and under 30s for you, Kerry. Question 2. Were most answers given single figures, double figures, or triple figures? How many times the Guest Nation is accessing their bank every week?
Every week.
Every week. So, yeah, well, most of the answers single digits, i.e. 1 to 9, double figures.
Thanks for clarifying.
10
what
to
the
10.
Yeah.
That's quite
No,
interesting.
This is for the listeners, just as much as people in the room.
I'm personally single figures.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, I try not to because it just.
I think
makes
if you're
me sad.
looking at it that much, there's a mental illness.
Yeah, double checking stuff.
Yeah,
all the time.
yeah.
I'm bad. I look at mine all the time. I've got like a habit where I just open it and I just look at it.
Are you
and
all
then
right?
close it.
Are you okay?
Not really.
Do you need to go to
No,
meetings?
yeah, probably. It's a bit like Facebook. I open up Facebook, do nothing on it, then close it
Yeah.
within like 10 seconds.
But
just like
the
a
thing
habit
about your bank account is like, unless you've got like a shopping addiction, like it's pretty constant. So why are you keeping like? There's no updates
Yeah,
on
no.
it.
My therapist hasn't got to the bottom of that one.
We're all trying to get to the bottom of this, unfortunately. What are you doing on Facebook? You on Facebook? You on Facebook Marketplace asking, is this still available?
no. I'm mostly on the Crouch End Appreciation group. That's it.
Oh, yeah?
With people, yeah.
But I do that. I log on to Facebook every now and again and just go, yeah, you're still shit. And I don't even scroll. Like Instagram is a doom scrolling thing.
Yeah.
But Facebook, I don't. It's like a nostalgic little. Oh, that's my
What I don't
primary
like
school
about
friend.
Facebook, though, is that I think everyone's got a mate like this who has aged quite badly and makes you all look bad. Have you got someone like that who's like, Christ, John, you're the same age as me. What's going on? And you get that worry you're going to suddenly start looking like an old fella. Like a bookies old fella.
Yeah.
And I've got a couple of mates like that. It's like, sort it out. You're letting the rest of us down. That's why I go on Facebook.
See, I'd look at that like on purpose to make myself feel better, though. Seeing that someone of my age looks rough, I'm like, great, I still look okay for my age.
See, the women, we are not going down easy. We shall never age. Like the women, like all the women that I know from all the backgrounds, look so good.
I really okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's good. That's a good thing. I think.
Is it?
Yeah. Well, I don't know. Some of the fellas that are some of the lads in my year at school, I always look back and think, you look like a butcher.
We need photos.
Like a butcher.
Log on to your Facebook after this and let's have a look.
Well, I'll show you. We'll show you.
Bush,
and if you're one of my school friends, hi, how you doing? Thanks for listening to the podcast. And I'll have 2 pounds of back bacon.
Kerry's going to go single figures. Bush, what are you going for?
Double figures. No one's looking triple figers. That's a problem.
That's
Although
mental illness.
Matt Cutler could be a triple figure fella.
I feel like I'm going to lose.
Well, you never know.
Question 3. We've only got 2 questions left. This question and the tiebreaker. What was the most common answer? That's simply what I want to know. The most common answer from the guest nation. How many times are they logging into their online banking a week?
5 times. I'm so lost, but I'm gonna lose brilliantly.
Go down
I'm just
fighting.
like, yeah. I'm gonna be the worst loser.
I think 21. I reckon they're looking 3 times
21.
a day, 7 days
That's
a week.
madness. That is a tick. That's a problem. You need medication.
Yeah,
or a hobby.
These people have got a problem. There's no two ways about it.
Take up pottery. You obviously need to busy your hands.
Right, I'll take 5 for you, Kerry, and 21 for you, Bush. Tiebreaker question. Speaking of people who've got problems, what was the highest someone on the guest nation said? You've heard from someone on the guest nation. You've heard some of my insight on that. What was the highest number a week that one person, the outlier at the top, is saying?
God, that's really sad, isn't it? Keep looking at my money.
My precious money.
Yeah, but what if they've got no money? That's the thing. You're like, oh.
Yeah, it's
hurts.
either
It's
either
either
like
loads of money or
Yeah.
like it's like.
what's the cartoon
25p.
character duck dived into the pile of coins?
I used to
Scrooge-
love that.
Scrooge McDuck.
Yeah.
DuckTales.
Yeah.
Which if you dive into gold, you're going to kill yourself.
Yeah. They didn't realise.
No,
This is it.
You're not going to swim in pennies.
Please, if you're listening to this, do not try and swim in pennies.
They're filthy as well.
Don't dive into pennies, otherwise you won't have a face. You break your neck.
Highest number. What are you saying, Kerry?
God, a week. Oh Jesus Christ!
A week, yeah.
It's got to be. I'm a million. A million.
A million times a week.
I told you I'm going to lose. I'm going to be the best loser. I'll win at being the best loser you've ever had on the show.
A million times a week. That's just got to process that.
Fuck it. I've gone down fuck it mode now.
Gone out swinging. I'm
Yep,
going
yep,
to say 110 times a week.
110 times a week.
You
It's
and
not
your
quite a
right
million.
answers.
It's not quite a million.
I love it. I'll take 1 million for you, Kerry, and 110 for you, Bush.
I'll wait to see how this pans out.
No, great. Okay, the answers are in. Who on average said they'd access it more times? Was it the youngs or the olds? It was the olds,
Oh,
over 60s.
my first answer was that, though.
Gotta go with your gut.
Wait, you trust yourself, you silly bitch.
You gotta go with your gut. Well, most answers given single figures, double figures, triple figures. They were single figures.
Yes!
You got that one right.
Woo!
She's back.
Oh, no.
You got that one right.
Consolation goal.
And the most common answer was 4.
Oh!
I'm so sorry.
Really?
Because, yeah.
I was
5.
so close.
So close.
Damn.
And you had that little glint in your eye when I said 5 as well.
I know. I was just, yeah.
He was actually just checking his bank balance.
Yeah, you were so close on that, but so far around the tiebreaker, which the answer was 150. You weren't too far
Oh,
away.
you were
there.
close.
But what did you say again? I can't remember what you said. She said 1 million.
But even 150, what's that? That's like 20 times. That's more than 20 times a day.
Yeah, it's out of control.
That's not me. by the
That's
way.
someone rich, isn't it? Just like counts like.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah,
it's
cool.
it's accruing. It's
Yeah,
accruing
yeah.
more money.
Yeah.
It could be someone who works in finance, so that maybe it's part of their job. They need to do it.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah. What,
Yeah,
checking
track
their own
it.
bank balance.
Oh, actually, that's true. I said your online banking. Yeah. So
Yeah.
work one wouldn't count.
Mafia, are they online banking? Money laundering?
Sopranos
Yeah.
type thing going on.
I mean, that's like quite chaotic, isn't it? Money laundering. So I imagine it must.
It's
have
very
to keep-
stressful.
Yeah, it's very stressful job,
stressful.
isn't it?
I'll report. I actually know who that is, so I'll report them to the police just in case.
Yeah.
Just in
Yeah,
case
yeah.
there's something dodgy going on. That means the end of the quiz. Kerry, you got 4.5. That's a good score, I'm guessing.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay, good.
But Bush, you won this with a 6.
Oh,
Very well done.
Thanks, Kerry.
You're a pro.
Thank you
You're a
very
pro,
much.
You know.
You've not won in a while as well. So
You-
that's-
yeah.
This is quite a big comeback for me.
Oh,
yeah.
is it?
This is
Oh,
my
it's like
difficult
you're
third
Mike
album.
Tyson.
Yeah.
And I'm Challenge Annika, so she was always going to lose.
You don't go away empty-handed,
Oh,
though.
what is that? A cardboard box?
It's something in the cardboard
What's
box.
inside the box? Oh, it's a mug.
It's a limited edition guesstimator's mug.
What about that? You can take that back to Bath.
I can smash it in your face. No, I'm fine.
She's absolutely fine about it. Absolutely fine.
I should take it to
Have you
Bath.
got fancy mugs and so on at your house, Kerry? Do you have
Oh,
any?
yes. We're off our tits on Denby.
Well, listen, on that bombshell. Thank you for watching and listening. Thank you to our celebrity guest, the brilliant Kerry Howard. Make sure you listen right to the end of this podcast to hear Statman Matt reveal who topped the leaderboard this week. We love hearing from you, so please let us know how you did on socials and with a voice note. And as ever, the voice note number is 07457 404 279. You've been listening to Guesstimators. We'll see you next time.
Hello, guesstimators. It is Statman Matt here. Hope you enjoyed that episode. Kerry was hilarious. I loved having her in the studio. But enough of that. Who topped the leaderboard this week? I can tell you the average score was 3.5. It was really low. What are you guys doing this week? Which meant that all you needed was an 8 to win. 2 people got an 8, so it came down to the tiebreaker. And the person who prevailed was, drumroll please, Fergus Dunn. Fergus signed up to play Guesstimators exactly a year ago, March the 20th, 2024, and has now won. Fergus got the first question wrong and the last question wrong, but apart from that, absolutely smashed it and put 21 for the tiebreaker. But that was enough to take it. So Fergus, congratulations. I will be in touch with you soon about getting your prize to you. Thanks as ever for playing, for listening, for watching. We'll be back on Monday again as ever with a bonus round. Until then, see you later.